Hi there! Welcome to Switch Mania. I am Clarence and we'll talk about the best Nintendo Switch games on sale. We will be covering the UK, EU, US, Australia, and Canada eShop. But first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you want to see more of this series, please leave a like, remember to subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell to receive future notifications. Likes and subscriptions help keep the channel alive. To start off with our list, Railbound. The puzzles in Railbound can still be more difficult than they appear. Some of the more difficult puzzles with many moving parts can be surprisingly easy, while the simpler ones can be among the most difficult parts of the game. Even if it takes a while to solve a puzzle, it never feels difficult or unfair. Most of the time, taking a short break or returning to the puzzles with fresh eyes is the best way to solve them. Railbound is an excellent game with a charming visual style and well-designed puzzles that reward and empower the player. It contains over 150 puzzles and can be played on the go. Railbound is a puzzle game that will captivate you if you let it. It's adorable, self-assured, and full of vibrant colors. The presentation is friendly and the puzzles are challenging, resulting in a well-crafted puzzle game that will keep your mind occupied for hours. Next up, Infini. At first glance, it appears to be a terrible game, but it's actually a very unique puzzle game with an unusually deep story. As you play more, you realize how much effort went into it. Don't be fooled by its appearance. Infini is primarily a puzzle and platformer game. It evolves into something much deeper, with its unusual visuals and sounds as well as its bizarre story. That depends on how you interpret it, and I doubt any two-player will interpret it in the same way. Those who can put up with Infini's oddness will enjoy it. Most people won't like the story or the way it's presented, but if you're looking for something different and want to try some unusual puzzles, give Infini a shot. Next is A Night at the Races. A Night at the Races does an excellent job of balancing hard Twitch-style gameplay with a story that is distinct from others in the genre. It's not for everyone, but for those who enjoy a challenge, it's more enjoyable than most fast-paced platformers. Even if it doesn't work out, A Night at the Races is an intriguing story experiment. Despite its flaws, it's an odd indie oddity that completely separates the arcade gameplay from the story, resulting in some strange effects. If you enjoy trying new things, this is well worth the hour it takes to complete. A Night at the Races is a difficult arcade platformer that will put your hand-eye coordination to the test. If you enjoy the genre of this game, you should definitely pick up this one because the story is very intriguing. Next up, Stilstand. Stilstand is a game that makes people feel sad and lonely, which is especially true in our time, when the global pandemic has made people feel more alone and demonstrated the importance of dealing with mental health issues such as loneliness and depression. Stilstand has a great story and looks like a comic book. Its only major flaw is that it ends so abruptly, leaving us with few reasons to pick it up again, despite the fact that it excels at everything. Stilstand is an interactive visual novel with a universally relatable story. It's darkly funny, emotionally engaging, and sad all at the same time. The Nintendo Switch version of the game with touchscreen controls is the best console version of a game that I believe most people will be able to relate to in some way. Stilstand is an interactive graphic novel that tells a darkly humorous and absurdist story about despair and loneliness. Next up, Cosmic Top Secret. Cosmic Top Secret is a light-hearted look at how ordinary people can conceal extraordinary secrets. Cosmic Top Secret functions well as a documentary as well as a video game. It employs gameplay to entice players to continue reading the story and learn more about the strange world in which it is set. Despite its difficult controls, the puzzles and presentation of this surprisingly personal and vulnerable interactive experience make it a great mystery. Cosmic Top Secret is an entertaining adventure puzzle game. Some may think the strange way it's put together is just weird, but I think it's quirky enough to be both different and interesting. If you prefer action games, this may not be for you. However, if you enjoy detective stories, this is a good choice. Cosmic Top Secret is an intriguing game that you should try if you want to try something new. Next is Echo. While playing the fun puzzle game Echo, you can enjoy a strong story about a boy and an egg. The game has over 30 levels, but it only takes 4 hours to complete. Except for a few, the puzzles are not difficult. As a result, the game never gives you too much time to think before moving on the next level. EQQO is still a fantastic game that you should try. If you want something relaxing, visually interesting, and a little bit challenging, this is the game for you. The storyline develops as you play, adding a layer of mystery. However, the ending is a little abrupt, making you wonder if it is worth your time to complete the game. EQQO has a few obvious flaws, but the journey is still worth a look because it has a multi-layered, touching story and simple puzzles. Next is Lydia. Lydia is a point-and-click adventure that shows players the devastating effects of drug abuse on a child's life. An unpleasant but necessary experience. People who struggle with substance abuse, on the other hand, should exercise extreme caution. Lydia is a small game with a big message. There are times when we need to help those who can speak for themselves. I strongly recommend that you play this fascinating, interactive story about a little girl who defeats her monster. Lydia is a game that is difficult to recommend to everyone because it is too short and lacks variety. Lydia, on the other hand, is a great choice if you want a game that will make you think and stick with you long after you finish it. Lydia is a significant game, and not just because it addresses an important issue, it's also significant because the game's art, music, and story help draw attention to the issues it addresses. Next up, Journey of the Broken Circle. The development team created an experience that demonstrates how, while life can be stressful, worrying is often a waste of time because the worst case scenario rarely occurs, even when an enemy is chasing you. On Nintendo, Journey of the Broken Circle is a mental journey about overcoming fears. It was put together with great care and shows that even if a person is afraid, they can move forward and have good things happen if they try hard enough, even if they have to try dozens of times. It has an appropriate balance of platform puzzles and deep, meaningful storytelling. If Journey of the Broken Circle's platforming had been better, it could have competed with Thomas Was Alone for the title of Best Platformer with Inanimate Objects. As things currently stand, it will simply have to be a very good game. Next up, Mythic Ocean. Mythic Ocean can be played multiple times because your choices affect how the story ends. This story-based game is ideal for those who enjoy immersive visual novels or who enjoy having their choices influence the game. Mythic Ocean is a high-stakes game that doesn't rely on combat or skill trees to engage players in the world. Despite the fact that the controls aren't perfect, the game is a fun and magical adventure. Mythic Ocean condenses the story elements of these games into a series of thoughtful conversations with a likable cast, while revealing something much deeper, the philosophies and quirks that shape our human condition, by removing most of the unnecessary parts of a bloated RPG, such as combat, leveling up, and customizing your character. Mythic Ocean is a beautiful and unpredictable game set on the ocean floor with a gentle but thought-provoking story. Next is Shmup Collection. Shmup Collection includes 3 different shoot-'em-up games. The 3 games are diametrically opposed, but they all have one thing in common. They make you sweat bullets. 2 of the 3 games have been remastered, but the third is simply a port to the Switch. 2 of the games are also quite brief. Fortunately for you, the distinctive elements keep you coming back for more. This is the best set for you if bullet hell games make your heart race. Cetaceus is the best of the bunch and almost worth the price on its own. But if you enjoy shoot-'em-up games, Shmup Collection is a collection that will keep on giving. Aside from the practice mode and stage select mode for each game, there are no extra features, but you won't miss them. This is a lot of happiness for a very low cost. We just hope there will be a sequel. Astroport has created a number of excellent games, and we'd love to see them given another chance on Switch. Next is Please Touch the Artwork. This is a fantastic puzzle game that I recommend to anyone interested in looking at art in new and thoughtful ways. Instead of visiting a modern art museum, you could simply relax with a glass of wine and alternate between these 3 types of puzzles to absorb some art. Please Touch the Artwork is a colorful and clever puzzle game that will stay with you for a long time after you finish it. Please Touch the Artwork is a fun, interactive exhibit that combines art history and humor with intuitive, thought-provoking puzzle mechanics. Even if you don't know your Picassos from your Pollocks, should browse these galleries. There isn't much else to say. Follow the instructions in the title. Just a quick reminder, 85% of you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you are enjoying the videos and not subscribed yet, why not? You're coming back anyways. And also, we are almost at the 1000 subscriber milestone, so please do consider subscribing. With all that said, let's get back to the video. Next up, WINGSPAN. WINGSPAN can be confusing and difficult to understand at first, but the more you play, the more you realize how deep its concept is. And when it all comes together, it's a fantastic game. There are already many excellent board games available for the Nintendo Switch. WINGSPAN is either the best or one of the best in the world. Even though the developers were fortunate to begin with such a beautiful and well-designed game, they did not simply copy and paste it to create a boring digital release, or worse, muck it up by attempting to change in some way. Instead, they demonstrated genuine respect and appreciation for what makes WINGSPAN so special. The developers of this game have used the video game medium to enhance the experience without exchanging what makes the game fun in the first place. WINGSPAN is nothing short of perfect on the Nintendo Switch. Next is Thea, The Awakening. Thea, The Awakening is designed to keep you busy for a long time because there are numerous ways to win and numerous strategies to employ. A single game can have hundreds of turns, but winning only unlocks new quests and options. The game's complexity makes it fun in a variety of ways, but it also makes it difficult to get into. I might have given up if I hadn't seen a YouTube video of a game being played through and explained as it went. That would have been a shame because Thea is a fantastic game that is well worth your time to learn. Thea, The Awakening will astound you. It's a strategy game with multiple ways to win, a strong emphasis on Slavic mythology, and a lovely map filled with resources, bodies of water, and forest. Because there isn't much else like it on the Switch, Thea is a great game for people who enjoy simulation games with a nice mix of RPG elements. Next up, Braveland Trilogy. Braveland Trilogy is a game that is both ruined and saved by how rough it began and how well it ended. The first Braveland game is brief and unimpressive. Braveland Wizard, the second game, shows a lot of promise and improves almost everything. Braveland Pirate, the third game, has a lot of personality, witty dialogue, and a lot of growth. It finally lives up to the promise of the first game. Braveland Trilogy is a fun way to play hexagonal combat in the style of Heroes of Might and Magic, as long as players can get past the game's original title. Even though the games in the Braveland Trilogy are simple, they are quite enjoyable. You can change the difficulty of the game at any time, making it as easy or difficult as you want. Even though the games could have been a little more complicated, keep in mind that these are ports of mobile games, so the simplicity makes sense. Still, if you're looking for a complex strategy game, you should look elsewhere. However, if you don't mind simple games, the Braveland Trilogy is worth a look. Next is Dragon Quest Treasures. Dragon Quest Treasures is a fun action RPG with a unique way to find treasures that is enhanced by the way it incorporates elements from the series. It's possible that it's little too easy, and some parts of the game feel less interesting than I'd like. Still, I believe it's a good choice for Dragon Quest fans or younger players who are exploring action RPGs for the first time. It's a trifle, but it's well made and won't upset your stomach. Dragon Quest Treasures is one of the series' best spin-offs. It shines on its own and is a fantastic addition for fans of Dragon Quest XI's story. It has an open world, a diverse set of monsters, and an interesting cast of characters. The only things holding it back are some repetitive gameplay and too easy combat. Next is Dimension Drive. Dimension Drive turns a problem that most home console vertical shooters have into a fun part of the game. It takes some getting used to, and there is clearly room for improvement at times. Overall, Dimension Drive has some interesting changes that fans of the genre will enjoy. Dimension Drive is a difficult, punishing 2D shooter that will test players' patience, persistence, and focus. Fans of the genre will enjoy this challenging game, but newcomers will be confused because the difficulty curve can shift quickly. Dimension Drive is an excellent addition to the shoot 'em up genre, and the game's handling of dimension switching is excellent. Just don't expect it to be easy. You have to get used to how different it is, but it's a good game overall. I recommend it, especially if you want a shoot 'em up with some fresh ideas. Next up, The Bug Butcher. The Bug Butcher is a fantastic game that pays homage to classic arcade shooters. It does an excellent job with the shooting mechanics and gradually increases the difficulty without becoming too difficult. Even though it's a short game, there's enough content to keep players entertained for far more than an afternoon. Because of the short levels and co-op endless mode, it's a good fit for the Switch. This is an excellent indie game that has been ported to Nintendo's console. The Bug Butcher is a spiritual sequel that is very close to its inspiration. This isn't a subtle nod, it's jam-packed with Pang references, which is what makes it so great. You'll return to the game because you can play it over and over to try to beat your own score. The fact that you can do it with a friend adds to the appeal. The Bug Butcher does nothing new, but it does an excellent job of recreating a classic game. Next up, Strikey Sisters. Strikey Sisters feels like a game that should have been released 25 years ago, both because of its unique mix of classic game types and because it appears to have been released at that time. You have to wonder why someone took so long to create a game like this. This combination is a lot of fun, but a few of the game mechanics could use some polishing and balancing. Still, it should be a lot of fun for anyone who enjoys clever gameplay or well-executed retro design ideas. Strikey Sisters is a great choice if you like games where you break bricks and want fun and new take on a genre. Finally, Strikey Sisters is a great value for money because it includes fun arcade games that both kids and adults can enjoy. This could be an excellent way to bring people of various ages together. Next is Tinykin. Tinykin is a game about taking time to smell the roses. It's brief, but it provides a meaningful experience without dragging on too long. It has a charming world and likable characters, but that's all it needs to be. A safe, laid-back piece of entertainment. Splash Team's emphasis on exploration and charm is strong, as evident by their sophomore work. Before playing Tinykin, I had no idea what to expect, but as soon as I did, I was completely immersed in this world. The area design are fantastic. They make you want to find and collect everything while providing enough options to keep you from hitting your head against anything. It's also put together in a charming manner. The characters are 2D sprites, which takes some getting used to, but once you do, this is one of the better games in this genre on the Switch. Next up, Mr. Shifty. Mr. Shifty is one of the most satisfying and enjoyable ways to fight that has ever been devised. Teleporting through offices and flinging kicks and punches at enemies and furniture is a visual and adrenaline rush. In this case, it appears best to set the story aside and let the action take center stage. But there is still room for a more thought out and quirky story. Furthermore, annoying checkpoints can exacerbate already annoying fights. Mr. Shifty is clearly based on Hotline Miami, but it stands out because of how fast the game is and how much emphasis it places on quick reflexes. The Nintendo Switch version has some bugs and can be completed in a matter of hours, but the game is entertaining and addictive enough to warrant adding it to your Switch library. Next is SpeedRunners. SpeedRunners on the Switch gave me more than enough time to reconsider my previous beliefs. Overall, it's a good single-player game, but local co-op is a lot of fun and should be included in any game night. SpeedRunners is a few years old, but it still works well and is a must-have for anyone who enjoys playing games with others in the same room. Overall, SpeedRunners is a fantastic party game for the most user-friendly console on the market. The game's simple but well-thought-out structure makes it simple to purchase on the spot when friends arrive. If you've been waiting for a portable SpeedRunners version to appear on the Nintendo Switch, this may seem like a long time coming. Finally, after years of waiting, players can now compete wherever they go. Next up, Graveyard Keeper. Graveyard Keeper is an odd game that takes the management sim genre in an unexpected direction. It has many different systems, but many of them are difficult to understand. Because the developers did not want to assist the players, they left much of the game's complexity a mystery unless you look it up online. Some people will be put off by this, but if it doesn't bother you, there's plenty here to keep you busy for hours. The impressively robust graveyard management game doesn't require much more, but using the Joy-Con rumble feature would have been nice. You must enjoy games like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon in order to enjoy this one. It's amusing and incorporates elements of crafting, farming, and RPG. The story is long and you'll have to repeat tasks like in other games in the genre. And last but not the least, The Final Station. The Final Station is a game with a clear vision of what it wants to be. This survival game is both terrifying and thrilling, and I couldn't help but admire it. Despite the fact that it is more linear than I would have preferred, I can't get enough of how exciting it is. The pixelated style and gameplay are among the smoothest I have seen on the platform, and it's difficult to tear yourself away even for a second. The plot of The Final Station is very intriguing. The Final final station does an excellent job of telling a story. The story snippets keep you guessing as you piece them together, and while the combat and exploration are fine, they don't live up to the developers' promises. Together, they create a fantastic experience, complete with a Twin Peaks style mystery that leads to a fantastic ending that leaves you wanting more and then gives it to you in the main menu. That's all guys, I hope this video was helpful in deciding which game to play. And thank you for checking out the list. Please remember to subscribe and we'll see you at the next one.